Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me for another Monday night Facebook Live. I'm Lisa from Holistic Health by Lisa Moan, and tonight I'm going to be talking about migraines. So if you have migraines or if you know anyone that has migraines, this will be very interesting for you. Next week we'll be talking about acne. So same time, same place. If you're interested in acne, join me then. So migraines. Migraines run in my family, so I was kind of set up to have them from the very start. And I did start to get headaches really young, like at the age of sort of 6 or 7, I was already getting headaches, which is quite upsetting for my mum because she could see where this was heading. And then when I was 17, I was put on the pill for my acne, which triggered which triggered migraines. So at the age of 17, because of medication I was given for a different condition, it triggered a lifetime of migraines. So that's one reason why I'm really cautious when people start a medication, because inevitably it will start a chain of side effects that are really hard to reverse. So yes, when I was 17, I started to get migraines, and when you have a migraine, taking an aspirin or taking a paracetamol doesn't do anything. You have to take much stronger medication. And in those days, there wasn't really that much available because this was before triptans had been invented. So that's Immigrant, medicines like Immigrant, they're called triptans. And so I was really stuck in this cycle of getting migraines triggered by hormones, triggered by foods, triggered by drink, and no real way to relieve the migraines. So that's really one of the reasons why I became interested in natural medicine. And I always said that I would literally do anything to get rid of my migraines. And I'm glad to say that for about the last 4 or 5 years, I have had very, very few migraines compared to what I used to have. So if you don't try and manage your migraines naturally and you go to the doctor, they will either suggest triptans or they might put you on a prophylactic medication, which means a medication that you take every day, regardless of whether you have a migraine or not, to stop you getting a migraine. And they're things like, could be an antidepressant, could be a beta blocker, and you'll just take those every day and hope that you don't get any migraines. So that's not something that would work for me. So the reason why people have migraines, all the reasons are going to be different. So I'm going to talk tonight about some of the triggers that you might want to look at for your migraines. And this may or may not work. You may need to dig a bit deeper or look at other areas of your life, but at least this will give you a few ideas of where you can start. So the first trigger for a lot of people is food sensitivities. And this is fairly well known, but some people know that if they eat cheese or if they eat chocolate or if they eat citrus, then that will trigger a headache. And that there's lots of reasons for that. So you could have an allergy to some of those foods, or it could be because of some of the food chemicals that are naturally occurring in those foods. And if it's a food allergy, you can do a blood test and work out that that's what you're reacting to. If it's something like an amine intolerance, you really just have to eliminate all the foods with amines in it and work out if that's your problem. For me personally, I have done diets with no amines for several weeks and had no benefit from that whatsoever. Other people find that dairy and eggs are the trigger, so if they cut out dairy and or eggs, that might be the solution. But really, it's very, very individualized, and you can't just Google, foods to avoid to reduce my migraines and get the answer. You have to do a lot of trial and error, do elimination diets, and possibly do testing to find out what exactly it is that you're sensitive to. The next big category of food sensitivities for migraines is gluten. So you do not have to be a celiac to have problems with gluten. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions that there are, is that only people with celiac disease should avoid gluten. And another, thanks, all the good stuff. Another thing to point out is that If you are intolerant to gluten, you might have no stomach issues. So people think, no, I'm fine with gluten because they don't get bloating, they don't get diarrhea, they don't get any stomach pain with gluten. But gluten can cause psychiatric conditions, it can cause migraines, it can cause skin rashes. So that is really, really easy to try, but you want to give it about a month. So if you think that gluten might be an issue for you, then just cut it out for a month. It's super easy these days. There's gluten-free everything. I mean, a lot of gluten-free foods are highly processed and you don't necessarily want to gorge yourself on gluten-free cakes and biscuits, but just switch to gluten-free products for a month and see if that helps your headaches. One of the things that really, really helped me was going on a strict paleo diet. So that doesn't just cut out gluten, but it actually cuts out grains and dairy and sugar and processed foods, which seems really strict, but it's not. It actually feels like a really nourishing way to live because you're just eating real wholesome food. You're not eating bread, you're not eating pasta, things like that. So I had to do more than just eliminate gluten. I actually had to remove grains, and that has been hugely successful for me. And that was probably about 6 years ago that I realised that grains were not good for my migraines. And any time where I'm on holidays and I think, oh, I'll just have like a bit more rice or a bit more gluten-free bread, the migraines come back. So if cutting out gluten doesn't help your migraines, take it one step further and cut out grains. And if that just sounds really confusing and overwhelming, I do have a paleo meal plan under the shop tab on my website, so you can have a look at that, and that's 4 weeks of paleo meal plans to get you started. Now, hormones are really implicated for migraines for women, not really for men. And it's not that women who get menstrual migraines have more hormones or even out of balance hormones. It just means that they're more sensitive to the hormones that their body produces, and possibly their liver is not as good at clearing all those hormones every month. So if you know that 2 or 3 days before you get your period you're going to get a migraine, then you really need to look at your liver and help your liver to detoxify those hormones every month so they don't build up over time. And one of the best ways to do that is just to eat more cruciferous vegetables. So more broccoli, more cabbage, more cauliflower. That's a really great place to start. And you, again, with all these things, you can take it much further and take herbs and specific nutrients. But just start with food and start to increase cabbage and Brussels sprouts and broccoli in your diet. And that can be genetic as well. So if your mum got bad migraines, you know, she probably has the same sort of sluggish liver that she would need to work on as well. Now, in terms of supplements are great for migraines, but you don't take supplements for a few days or maybe not even for a couple of weeks and see results. You might have to do a few months of taking supplements every day to actually get a benefit. And then, of course, it's very hard to know if it was the supplement that helped. Was it the dietary change? Was it the fact that you're getting a monthly massage? So it is hard to pull it apart, but there's a few sort of no-brainers that you should really start with if you get migraines. And the first is magnesium. And it's not enough to take a multivitamin with magnesium in it, because that might be, 50 or 60 milligrams. You need at least 400, 500 milligrams of elemental magnesium every day. And that relaxes all the muscles in your neck and in your head, which stops migraines, helps you sleep better. It's anti-inflammatory. There's so many benefits to magnesium. So just start that as soon as you can. If you get migraines, just start taking 400 milligrams of magnesium every day and see how that works out for you. And B vitamins is the other sort of no-brainer for migraines. So take a B complex, so not just vitamin B6 or vitamin B12, but take a supplement that has all the B vitamins in it together, because they kind of work as a team, and see if that helps your migraines. And the last sort of trigger to talk about is sleep. And if you're a mum of little kids, then getting more sleep might not be that straightforward. But if you can prioritize regular good night's sleep, so getting 8 hours in as solid a chunk as possible, that will help reduce your migraines. Whenever you get sleep deprived, broken sleep, jet lag, you will notice that your migraines will get worse. This is really hard for shift workers. And if you're a shift worker and you get bad migraines, you really probably need to assess that career choice. Because if you're sick, if you have to take a lot of sick days because you're getting interrupted sleep, which is triggering migraines, it might not be the right fit for you. So that's something to consider. And the magnesium will really help with your sleep. Whether you're a shift worker or not, the magnesium helps you get into a deeper night's sleep. So once you try all those things, if you don't see any relief, you might need to go for some like manual therapies as well. So maybe you get an osteopath who can release the tension in your neck. There's some physios that are really good at that if they're specially trained in migraines and headaches. And those would be my two favourite. Or just a massage, like getting a regular massage on your neck and back once a month. So not waiting until you have a migraine, but actually preempting that and just having a regular massage no matter how you feel can be helpful. Of course, I can't forget acupuncture. Acupuncture has saved me many times with migraines when medication hasn't been able to help. I've just gone for acupuncture, and that's been very, very helpful. So pop any questions you have about migraines below. Obviously, this is just scratching the surface of what you can do with migraines. There's so much more you can do in terms of supplements and diet and lifestyle. And I'm happy to talk about that another time. And so pop any questions below, and I'll be back here next week to talk about acne and dietary changes that are really good for acne and supplements that are really good for acne. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found something useful for it. And thank you. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.